Hello, everybody. It's a big pleasure to be with us today in one of our last webinar of this year. We're very excited to have Olaf Van Steenis from Impex. He's a drinking specialist for Impex. And we're very excited actually because we believe that we need to provide a practical and simple information. And today, Olaf is going to share with us the basic of water drinking system. I think that is very needed. This subject for the industry. And like always, this webinar is going to be recorded and is going to be open for public view in the next couple of weeks in our YouTube channel. So Olaf, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for all these presentation that you have with us. So the time is yours. And at the end of the presentation, we will have a couple of minutes for questions. And I hope that you enjoy this and more important, put it to practice. Thank you, Olaf. You can go.
Thank you very much. Thank you for everybody attending at this webinar for about drinking systems. I hope it will be learnful for you. Well, first of all, my name is Olaf Van Steenis. I'm from Holland, working for Impex Barneveld now already 18 years as an export sales manager. In my job, I did visit a lot of farms in Africa, in the Middle East, in Asia mostly, and of course, I gained some experience about drinking water, which I want to share with you today. Well, first of all, Impex, we are based in Holland, in Barneveld. Barneveld is the epicenter of Holland from the past. We are specialized in drinking systems, drinking nipple production. We also have some other products like simple feeders and the beaking machines and so on. But our main focus is on drinking systems. We work with 90 people at Impex, and we produce around 25 million poultry nipples per year. We are, once again, we are based in Holland. We have a sales office and warehouse also in the US, in Atlanta. Our factory actually is in Germany, near Frankfurt. We supply more than 700 customers, which can be OEM customers, can be integrations, installers. So it's a wide variety of customers. We sell our products in the whole world, from South Latin America, North America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, and of course also the oceanic countries. Well, today I want to talk about water with you. Water is one of the most crucial nutrients for your birds. Most people focus a lot on feed. If you talk with farmers, they can tell you exactly what is inside their feed. But if you ask them what is inside the water, many of the farmers, they don't know. Which is actually strange because if you look at the body of a bird, 70% of the bird consists out of water. And if we are talking about eggs, 90% of an egg contains water. So of course you can understand that if that water inlet is not of a good quality, you will also have problems in your production. Water should be of a good quality. It should be free of odors or of sediments. And of course, the better quality water you have, the better feed conversion you have, and the better feed conversion that you have, then you have better production. Would you drink water like this? I understand this picture is a little bit, you don't see this in real life, but many times if I visit farms and I take a cup and I put it under the nipple line and give it to the farmer and ask them if they want to drink it, until now I didn't meet a farmer that approved to drink it. Many of the farmers, they will refuse it. So they know that the water quality is not good. And of course, we understand that we are not always, it's not always possible to give the same quality water that we humans drink, but at least we should do our most best to give them the best possible quality of water. Especially since a lot of governments nowadays, they try to cut antibiotics. Um, Antibiotic usage is at this moment much too high, and the problem arises that we get superbacteria, bacteria that are resistant of antibiotics. And that's why a lot of governments want people, but also farmers, to reduce antibiotics. And one of the key points there is that we should take care of the water quality. I mean, it's not the most important, it's not the only thing, but it's a very important thing. If you look at farms also here in Europe, which are antibiotic free, you will see that all those farmers, they will focus on the water quality. If we look at drinking systems, you can divide it into three. Here you are seeing four. I will later on explain why I have four. But the old-fashioned way of water supply is open water, which is the first one. Open water means there is contact with air and water. And if there is contact with air and water, you also have contact with dirt and water, dust and water, insects and water, and so on. The hygiene is very poor. And of course, you have a higher risk of contamination, higher risk of diseases, which then also causes higher mortality. The second one is open water fountain and bell drinkers, which is already a little bit better. But still, we have open water. It's reduced. It's a smaller surface, but still there is open water. They are normally, or mostly, they are filled automatically. So that's also an improvement. But once again, it's still open water. And then if I go to the last one, is closed drinking systems. And closed drinking systems, those are nipple systems. And why is it called closed? Because there is almost no contact between air and water. So in the most ideal situation, the first time you have contact with air and water is when the chicken drinks from the nipple. So then you will also have less contamination. And it's also easier to dose medicines and vaccines to those systems. Then we have the third one, where you can see that closed water nipple bucket. That is a system that we made specially for smaller farmers, and smaller farmers in countries like in Africa or in Asia, where the investment of a complete drinking system is too much. Well, there we started thinking, okay, what can we do to help them? And we came with this system, which gives the benefits of a nipple system, but still you have a bucket which you can fill manually. You can also do it automatically, but it's much easier to install for a very small farmer. But then, if the farm gets bigger, it is better to go to a closed drinking system, to a nipple system. A closed drinking system, that's our specialty. A closed drinking system gives you a couple of advantages. It improves your hygienic situation. It will reduce medicine usage because there's less contamination. It will reduce spillage, which means a drier manure, drier litter, which also gives you benefits. And it also ensures optimal dosing. So it's easier to dose medicines if needed, and it's easier to vaccinate your birds or to give supplements like vitamins. If you have a closed drinking system, of course, it is important that your quality of drinking system is good. Nipples should be of a good quality. A good nipple should have a guaranteed flow. So the manufacturer of that nipple should be able to guarantee that flow of the nipple. The nipple should also be of a good quality material. Of course, if you use a bad stainless steel, which then starts to corrode, or stainless steel that is affected will cause the nipple to leak. If you have plastics, poor plastics, it can cause nipples to crack later on. So it is important. So if you buy nipples from a good nipple supplier, they should be able to guarantee the flow rate and the quality of the nipple, and nipples should be tested one by one. If you have a drinking system that is of a poor quality, it can cause a couple of issues. You can have a wet litter, which can cause then also bad air, ammoniac emission. Chicken can start to have feet problems, feet lesions, and which also then cost money. You have a waste of water and also a waste of medicine if you are dosing medicine. And it's also more difficult to control your chicken. You cannot control the water consumption, because if you see that water consumption is, for example, 100 liter, but a part of it is spilled, you're not sure what is going into the chicken and what's going outside of the chicken. So in short terms, some nipples can be maybe cheap, but in a long term, they can cause a lot of problems, and they can also cost you money. These are some indications on water consumption of your birds. Of course, if you go to your supplier of your chicken, the genetics, they can exactly tell you, of course, what is the correct water consumption. But for me, why do I put it here? Because it's very important to measure how much water your birds are drinking. I am surprised that I came to many farms, and there are a lot of farms that are not using water meters. And a small tip, a small advice is to buy a water meter. It doesn't cost a lot of money. They are most probably available in shops close by near you. Buy a water meter, and every day at the same time go to that water meter and write down how much water your birds are drinking. And it's a very, very good indication. It tells you a lot about your birds. If you see big differences in your water consumption, it can be a sign that maybe there's a problem with your feed, or there is a problem that your chicken are getting sick. So it's a small thing, but it helps farmers a lot. So buy a water meter. Also, some farmers they think that chicken drink more water from an open water source than from a nipple. Well, if you have a good water system, drinking system, the chicken will drink exactly the same amount of water as if it was open. Well, just to tell you a little bit, because many people say they think that producing a nipple is quite easy because it's a small thing, but it's not that easy. We as Impex, we try to focus a lot on quality. That's for us the key thing. So we test all our nipples one by one, so we are sure that all the nipples that we deliver are of a good quality. I have here a small movie of our factory where you can see how those nipples are produced. I hope it's easy for you to see.
In the Impex factory, all essential components of the wide range of poultry and pig watering systems are produced, assembled, and tested by state-of-the-art machines and robots. For production, Impex uses modern machines with CNC technology. These exceptionally fast cam-controlled machines combine flexibility, accuracy, speed, and reliability, characteristics perfectly suited to Impex. The various drinking nipple components are assembled into complete nipples by robots. The robots are designed and developed for and by Impex. In addition to assembling the nipple drinkers, the robots test and check each individual nipple for leakage to ensure optimal quality and water flow. In addition to the 100% individual nipple drinking control by robots, The products are checked with high precision equipment through various analyses on roughness, roundness, flatness, squareness, and thickness. Durability testing is also carried out to simulate and guarantee many years of use.
Well, hopefully this gives you a little indication on how complicated it is to produce a good quality nipple. Well, if you look at nipples, and this is not only for Impex, but I think this is for all nipple suppliers, you can divide them into two lines. We have one line which we call the iClassic nipple. iClassic nipple is a 180-degree nipple, and 180-degree nipple means you can only activate it from underneath, where you can see this arrow close to the nipple. This nipple we mostly used for adult birds, so that means layer and breeder birds. We make it in stainless steel, and we make it in plastic. Depend with also different water flows. That's depending on what the customer prefers. Then we have the iFlex nipple, and we call it an iFlex nipple because it is a side action nipple, or 360-degree, people also call it. And this nipple you can activate from all sides, so from underneath, from the sides. And this is a must for day-old birds. Later on, I will explain you why that is a must, but it is really necessary for day-old birds to have a side action nipple. It is precision made, so it doesn't give too much water, so you don't have water spillage, but just the right amount of water, so the birds gets what it needs. This nipple is mostly used for broilers and for rearing, but nowadays we also make it for adult birds, also for layers and for breeders. But these, of course, are different nipples. Also, these nipples we make in stainless steel. We make them with a plastic body, of course, which is a special plastic. We make nipples that are low in the pipe. We make nipples with high water flow, low water flow. Low water flow if you don't want to use a cup. So we have all different variety of nipples. So, okay, then you decided to have a closed drinking system. You decided to have a good quality nipple. You have the right nipple. Is that all? Well, unfortunately, it isn't, because then proper management is the next key issue. And if you look at management, there are three main things that can go wrong. First of all is the correct height of the lines, the correct water pressure, and the correct water flow. The correct water flow is not really influenced by the farmer. That's normally a thing that we as manufacturers can arrange. But the correct height of the lines and the correct water pressure, that is something that the farmer has to be careful of. The correct height. What is the correct height? Well, for day-old birds, nipples should be on eye level. Before I explained to you that a side action nipple, 360-degree nipple, is important for day-old birds. And why is that? Because if that bird comes into the house, it doesn't know where to drink. It sees something shiny. It's curious. It picks on everything. So it starts picking at the pin, and then it gets water. And that's how the bird learns where it can drink. And the sooner the bird learns that, the better it is. It's really, if it takes too long, you will already get negative effects for his future life. So also negative effects on production. So you should have a nipple that is very easy to trigger for that bird. So that's why we put that nipple on eye height. The bird has to see the pin. But the bigger the bird gets, then we start to increase the line, because birds cannot swallow. So they need gravity to help them. So that's why we increase the line, the height of the line. So they have to reach for the pin to activate it, and then water comes into their throat and into their stomach. So if the line is too low, which is unfortunately the above picture is something that you see quite often, then that bird struggles to drink from that nipple, and then of course it will also have more water spillage. So the height of the line is very important. And of course, the underneath picture, that's the correct way. And that is mostly then for younger birds. And if it gets bigger, then we increase the line. Well, the next step is correct water pressure. Many times, if I come into farms, the pressure is too high. These are indications. Just be careful, because this all depends on the density of your house, the density of birds, and it also depends on the length of the line. So these are indications, but you start with a low pressure, which is around 5 centimeters in the first day. And then the bigger they get, then you slowly increase the pressure, because they get bigger and they drink more water. Of course, if you have water pressure that's too high, then you will then the nipple will give more water, or it eventually will start spraying. So then a part of the water doesn't go into the beak of the bird, but it will be sprayed around. Yeah, so we don't want that. Too low pressure, this is, I don't see that a lot, but then if you have too low pressure, then it means that at the end of the line, you don't have any water anymore. What I always advise, if I come into a house, I go to the pressure regulator, I check how high the pressure is, I walk to the end of the line, I observe the chicken, are they drinking? And then I check the bowl at the end of the line. So if it's still 20 centimeter, that's for me a sign that the pressure is too high. It should be floating with a couple of centimeters, so you have a little bit of extra buffer, but it shouldn't be on the 20 or 25 centimeters. If that's the case, then you should go to the regulator to put down the pressure a little bit. I give a lot of presentations, and if I give presentations, my standard question is always, what's the best investment in your poultry house? And I get a lot of nice answers. Ventilation, feed. Of course, some people want to please me. They say drinking systems, which is very kind. But I think the best investment in a poultry house is a chair. Just to sit every day with your chicken and to observe your chicken, to see what your chicken are doing. Use your own sensors, which is your nose, your mouth, your eyes, your ears, your skin, and to see what your chicken are doing. And if you do that, then you can already solve a lot of problems. That's not only for drinking, that's, I think, also for ventilation or for feed. We are here talking about drinking. So check the water pressure. How high is the pressure? Is it too high or is it too low? Check if the cups are dry or relatively dry. They shouldn't be full of water. Some people, they ask me for cups that are deep, and when I ask them why, they say, yeah, because otherwise the cup overflows. The chicken, they drink from it. Well, if chicken drink from the cup, it means you have a problem. It means you have too high pressure, or your nipples are maybe not of a good quality, because chicken should not really drink from the cup. They should drink from the nipple. Otherwise, you have an open water system. Check also every day if the litter underneath your drinking line is dry. It can be that maybe because of dirt or other causes that nipples get blocked if you don't clean them in the right way, and that can cause nipples to spill. You don't want that. And then the third thing is the correct water flow. There is a lot of different opinions in the world about the correct water flow. And because there are a lot of different opinions, we asked the help of the University of Wageningen. That's a big university here in Holland. And we asked them, okay, can you check for us the different water flows? Is there really a difference in production if we use a low water flow nipple, a medium water flow nipple, or a high water flow nipple? And for us, a low water flow nipple is around 50 ml. A medium standard water flow is around 80 ml, and a high water flow is more than 100 ml. They did do their research, of course, in a neutral way, and they checked everything, feed conversion and production, and until the end of the line with boilers. And they found out that at the end of the round, there were almost no differences in production, in end weight. The only difference what they saw is that on the high water flow, there was more water consumption, and also the litter was more wet because they also measured that. And the chicken with high water flow, they already got feed problems. They had beginning feed problems. So that's why for us the correct water flow is between 50 and 80 ml, right? 35 until 80 ml. That is for us the standard water flow. More than 80 ml, normally we do not really recommend. Some people ask me, they say, yeah, I'm from a hot country, and in a hot country, chicken should drink more water. I don't think that is partially true, but I compare that always with humans. If I'm from I'm from a cold country. If there's somebody from a hot country, it doesn't mean that somebody can drink a bucket of water in one time. That person will drink more glasses of water during the day because it's hot. And that's the same for your chicken. A chicken can only drink a certain amount of water in one time. And it doesn't matter if that chicken is here in Holland or in Africa or in another hot country. So I do believe that you should put in more nipples, but not a nipple that gives more water. To check the water flow of your nipple, we have a simple device. It's called the flow meter. It's very easy. You put it underneath the nipple for 30 seconds, and then you multiply the outcome with 2, and then you have your flow per minute, and then you can see, okay, is this correct? Yes or no? And is every nipple giving the same amount of water? So then also, of course, your quantity of birds per nipple is important. These are also some recommendations. It depends also per country. But for laying hens, we for free range we go between 8 to 10 birds per nipple, and for broilers here in Europe we do 15, but in hotter countries we do around 12 birds per nipple. It can also be even a little bit lower. Well, and then the next step on your management is maintaining the quality, maintaining the water quality, making sure that your drinking lines are clean. And that is, of course, very important, because if you don't take care of your drinking lines, you can have biofilm inside your pipes, and biofilm, of course, can contaminate your birds. So that is, of course, a thing that we don't want. And if we go to how to maintain that quality, step 1, of course, is checking your water supply. Is your water supply good? I think to test your water, you should test your water 2 times or 1 time a year, and send your samples to a laboratory to see exactly what is inside your water. But you can also do it in a simpler way. You can also test water, take some samples, put them in a jar, and use your own sensors. Use your own nose, smell the water. Is it free from odor? Does it look clear? Leave it for 24 hours. Look at it again. Is there sediment? And if you do that quite frequently, then it also tells you a lot about your water quality. But even if you do that, try also if there's possibilities to send samples to a laboratory and ask them what is inside my water, how much is the bacteria count. Would you drink water like this? This water pipe is a thing that you really see. Of course, you don't have to be a doctor to know that this is, of course, a wrong way, and there is a lot of bacteria growth inside this pipe. We are dosing medicines to our drinking lines. So actually, if you are dosing medicines into a contaminated drinking tube, it's like the below picture, a dirty syringe. That you are giving your medicines to your chicken, so that's not the correct way. Biofilm is a big risk in the drinking system. Biofilm is a slimy substance. If you take a glass of water and you leave it for 24 hours and you feel on the inside that glass, you feel something slimy. That's the start of a biofilm. It comes by itself, and it hosts bacteria and fungi. It's slimy, so they multiply there, and they build up, and then they release particles into the drinking water, which then goes to your chicken, contaminates your chicken. So that biofilm we want to get rid of. A biofilm can be caused because of a poor water source. It can be also caused by poor quality of materials. If you have a bad pipe, it's not smooth, so of course then it's easier for biofilm to get stuck on your pipe. So that is a problem. Higher water temperature can also cause a biofilm buildup. Slow movement of water, and no cleaning or ineffective cleaning. And high temperature, slow movement, you see that with broilers, especially in the first days, they are very small. Sometimes you see farmers that fill already the lines more than 24 hours before. Well, you can then imagine that water is getting warm and is standing still. So biofilm is already being built up before the chicken even come in. And so then those chicken are very fragile, and they already drink water which is contaminated. So my advice is always to fill the lines just a small moment before the birds come in. I mean, if you can close that gap, can make it smaller, it's only better for the water quality. And with flushing, we try then also to with frequent flushing to improve the movement of water, so you have less biofilm buildup. Well, what is an adequate way of cleaning? Well, cleaning you can divide in two ways. If we talk about drinking lines, it's mechanical cleaning and chemical cleaning. And the ideal way is to do a combination of both. And what is mechanical cleaning? I always do the comparison of washing your hands. If you have your hands and you rub your hands, this is mechanical, and that is what we can achieve with pressure. So with high pressure, we can have a mechanical force in the pipe, which can take away a part of your dirt. But then still, sometimes you still need some chemical product to get rid of the oil or the slime. So once again, this is the same as washing your hands. Sometimes just rubbing your hands is not enough. You need soap to clean your hands. Well, this is the same with your drinking lines. We don't use soap, we use other products, but we need something to take away the oil of that biofilm. One of the products which I think is quite effective is a product based on stabilized hydrogen peroxide, and that removes the biofilm. I think peroxide is quite a safe product to use. You can even use it in presence of birds, and you use a higher dosage when the house is empty. So this is a good way. Some people use chlorine. Chlorine is I think is a very good disinfectant, but it's not really a good cleaning product, because you want a product that can really penetrate the dirt. And water peroxide is one of the products that can really penetrate the slime layer, and then take away also that slime layer. Well, we as Impex, what we can offer is flushing systems, and normally standard with our regulator you can do manual flush. Manual flush, then you have to flush line by line. So you have to open the regulator, go to the end of the line, open the valve there, and flush your lines. And you have to do line by line. So that causes a lot of that is a lot of work. So that's why we invented automatic flushing. And then you can connect it to a controller, and then you can set time, and then every day your system will flush. And you can even attach different sensors to it, like a biofilm sensor or temperature sensor. And then when it detects a biofilm, it will automatically start flushing. Or when it sees that you have a high water temperature, it will automatically flush. I have a small animation about that, so I will try to show you that.
Access to clean, fresh, and tasty drinking water plays a big role in the growth and health of your poultry. That's why it's important to flush your drinking lines through regularly. It helps you prevent biofilm buildup, one of the biggest threats to good water quality. A biofilm is a slime layer that forms on the inside of the drinking line. Once formed, it protects the harmful microorganisms and lowers the effectiveness of medicines and vaccines. Pieces of the biofilm can also come loose and get stuck inside the drinking nipple. The nipple then no longer closes properly or even gets blocked entirely. Using an automatic flushing system will help to prevent this from happening. The iControl, an intelligent flush computer, forms the heart of the iFlush automatic flushing system. First, the iControl signals the actuators on the pressure regulators to flush the lines through, one by one, based on a pre-programmed flushing schedule. But it can also use information from additional sensors inside the drinking lines. A biofilm sensor checks the clarity of the water by measuring the brightness of the light. When the pollution exceeds the preset level, the iFlush automatically flushes the drinking lines through. Water temperature sensors monitor the water temperature. The system flushes the drinking line if the water becomes warmer than the preset maximum temperature. With an additional sensor in the supply line, the system flushes when the difference between the supply line and the drinking line becomes too big. When using an automatic flushing system, you not only safeguard the water quality and reduce antibiotic use, but also extend the service life of your system. And it saves you a lot of time, since you don't have to flush the lines through manually.
Well, there's a little bit an animation about automatic flushing. So that's the next step on maintaining the quality of your drinking system. So once again, the heart is a iControl. It's a flushing computer where you can set time, or it also has pre-scheduled programs for your birds. For example, for broilers, we then flush 2 or 3 times a day, and then after a week we flush 1 time a day, and then so the bigger they get, of course, we can flush less time. Of course, with layer, it's more a standard program. So you can do that with this system, and of course you can also here flush by hand if you like. This controller you can set for 10 groups, and per group you can do three drinking lines. And then the sensors which you can connect, biofilm sensor or a temperature sensor. These are extra options to this water system, to this flushing system. Well, that's already my presentation. I would like to invite you all to scan this QR code. With this QR code, you can download a couple of our management guides. We made special management guides for broilers, for layer, about water quality. We have them in different languages, so please scan this QR code, and you need to register yourself, and then you can download all the additional information. Well, this was a little bit my presentation. Please, if you have questions, I would like to answer them for you.
Olaf, thank you very much for your presentation. I think your presentation was very focused and very simple, and that's part of our main goal and vision, to provide very clear information to our audience. I don't know if there is any question for the audience, but I have one question. For example, in the field, Olaf, which are the major, let's say, mistakes on the installation that people need to look after? When they do the installation, I have seen a lot of systems that they are very well designed, they have the right equipment, but then the critical part of the installation is something that we need to put extra attention.
Yeah, well, it's a good question. One, of course, an important thing is that the lines need to be straight. Sometimes you see drinking lines which are all bumpy. And of course, then you can have risk of airlocks inside your drinking pipe. So that can be because you have a poor quality of pipe or stabilization tube, but it also can be because it's not installed in the proper way. So this is, I think, one of the most common problems that you see with drinking line installation.
Okay, perfect. So I don't know if you can read in the question and answer box. There are 3 questions right now.
I think I need to stop sharing and then I can
Okay,
see.
no, it's okay. I can read it for you.
Okay.
First question from Dipendra Candle. How long will be the nipple pipeline last? For example, 10 years, 20 years?
Yeah, I always say that depends of course on the quality of pipe. So I cannot give, of course, a standard for other producers, but I think standard the nipple remains a long time, but it all depends on the usage. For example, what kind of chemical products are you using from the outside and from the inside of the pipe? So that of course influences the lifetime of your drinking pipe. There are pipes in the market that are quite hard, cheaper plastics, and they of course are more vulnerable against chemical products. But yeah, if I have 10 years should be should be no problem, I would say. But once again, it depends on the usage of your drinking system.
Okay, another question from Dipendra. Which chemicals are used for flushing nipple pipelines?
Well, for flushing, you don't use a chemical. So what you normally do, you do the combination of flushing and using a chemical. So in practice, how does it work? That when your house is empty, you start with filling your lines with a chemical product, which once again can be a water peroxide, for example, that you leave in your pipes for a certain time, so it can really clean, and then you flush your lines. So you take away all the dirt from the line. Then when birds come in, some chemical products you can use with presence of your birds with a low dosage, so that you use when you are not flushing, and then when you flush, you stop using your chemical products because otherwise you flush your chemical product out. That's a waste of money, of course. So it's a combination. So normally you use a small percentage of for example, a peroxide, and then on regular times you flush your system with high pressure, so to take away all that dirt that the chemical product loosened from the pipe.
Okay, thank you, Olaf. Another question. We have 2 questions from Basat Rao Atanti. What is the dosage of hydrogen peroxide for pipe cleaning?
That depends on the type of peroxide that you're using. I'm not a supplier of, and I'm not a manufacturer of chemical products, but I know you, for example, water peroxide you have in different percentages. I would recommend him to check on the internet, to check for a supplier of this product. Otherwise, he can also contact me, and I can advise him some maybe some manufacturers that I know. And he can ask them, of course, for the right percentage of product.
And then the last question that we have: what is the optimum pH to maintain for birds drinking water?
That should be light acid. So around 6, I think is correct. But I would recommend one of the management guides that I was talking about is about water quality, and there you can also find the standard recommendations on pH or on hardness, iron. I would also advise to download that guide, but it is around it's below 7. That's the right pH.
Okay, perfect. So those are the questions that we have, Olaf. We thank all the audience that took the time today to be with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Olaf, for your time and wonderful presentation. As I say at the beginning, this webinar will be accessible in our platforms in the next couple of days. And yeah, we are very excited that we have the chance to present this subject, and we hope that bring a lot of benefits to you, to the industry. Thank you, Olaf, and thank you to all of you guys.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.